Korea is one of the most secretive countries in the world. The economy is quite tricky to measure because of the lack of data. We only have estimates of the size of the economy of the country. In the wake of international sanctions against North Korea, its trade volume with China halved in just 1 year, prompting the regime to seek hasty solutions. In fact, last year's trade volume between North Korea and China stood at $2.43 billion, not even half the figure of the previous year. January's trade volume also shrank 8.4% compared to a year ago. Such economic hardship is compounded by a chronic food shortage. North Korea produced 4.95 million tons of grain last year, down 500,000 tons from 2017. In an unexpected move last month, North Korea's permanent representative to the United Nations Kim Song admitted to the food shortages in his country and asked the international community for help. North Korea's current exports to China fell to 1/10 of what they were before the sanctions. That means the amount of foreign currency going into North Korea shrank as well. It appears that North Korean Chairman Kim Jong-un's request to remove 5 economic sanctions at the Hanoi summit was intended to solve these pressing economic issues. North Korea is pushing a 5-year economic development plan after giving up its parallel development of nuclear weapons and the economy. But just as its leader Kim Jong-un said that there is no time to waste, the rapidly deteriorating North Korean economy needs immediate solutions to keep it from spiraling out of control. So how and why is North Korea becoming stronger and stronger with such a bad economy? What are they trying to achieve? Well, the truth is, it's hard to predict what North Korea is really trying to achieve. But I'm pretty sure it has 3 goals. Number 1. Food aid, use the nuclear weapon as a bargaining chip. North Korea is quite poor, and hence it depends on foreign food aid to survive. America gives a lot of food aid to North Korea, and North Korea can blackmail America to keep donating. Otherwise, they'll bomb South Korea. North Korea has nothing to lose in case of retaliation. Number 2. Maintain the regime. The Kim regime that rules North Korea needs to flex muscle and show power in order to survive. Argentina's military dictator invaded the Falkland Islands in 1983 because his government was unpopular at home. This flex of power suddenly gains supporters. Look at what Putin done in Crimea. His economics failed, and Russia went into recession, so he distracts the public by annexing Crimea. A regime needs an enemy to distract people from the problems at home. It's a classic propaganda technique. Number 3. Avoid invasion, stay independent. The regime seems incorrigible for now, and America, China, South Korea cannot invade North Korea, because oh well, we'll remember the atomic bombings of Seoul. North Korea does have a weak economy, but it still has enough cash to make nuclear bombs because it starves most of the populace. North Korea has uranium deposits, so there's no need to import uranium. The entire Korean peninsula, both north and south, has no known recoverable oil and gas reserves or potential to develop any within their respective territories. So, North Korea will remain dependent upon China and skirting current sanctions to acquire the oil, primarily required for fuel and energy needs. There are abundant dirty coal reserves which they do exploit and use as an export to China. That source of energy is rapidly being replaced where possible due to the severe pollution it causes major cities in China and North Korean energy production for electricity. If they had oil and gas reserves, they would have already begun to exploit them. There really isn't any movement in the DPRK government, either politically or economically. Other than very showy pie-in-the-sky projects aimed at the elites and Chinese tourists, who never come, there has been little construction or progress. There are 2 basic problems that hinder any North Korea development. 1. The country lacks enough arable land to feed itself. Climate change has made the situation worse by adding frequent floods and droughts into the food equation. 2. North Korea lacks infrastructure. There is no general availability of electricity, clean water, or access to basic public health services outside of Pyongyang. Kim Jong-un continues to tighten the grip of the Kim dynasty that was begun by his grandfather. It is a continuously tense and dog-eat-dog political situation where Kim's subordinates watch his every move for any sign of weakness. Any coup that deposes Kim will result in an even more repressive and brutal government. The sanctions have meant that 95% of the population is in a death spiral with little food, no legitimate ways of earning foreign exchange, and none of the services, infrastructure, health care, social safety nets, even fire protection, on which any sort of consumer economy could be built. It is hard to think in terms of tourist hotels on sunny beaches when over 80% of the population has life-threatening parasites and no medical system except traditional Korean medicine. Kim has shown that he is an expert in playing the high-stakes game of brinkmanship played by his father and grandfather. But he has the advantage of a large nuclear arsenal, and between 1/4 and 1/3 of government spending goes to the military. In the last 2 years alone, Kim has converted his A-bomb arsenal into H-bombs and has made an estimated 1 new warhead a month. He has replaced his Soviet-era Scuds with new serial production copies of the Russian Iskander-M tactical ballistic missiles. This is the game-changer that the Trump's White House calls short-range projectiles. North Korea has 2 ballistic missile subs capable of carrying 4 missiles each in the final phases of construction, and has converted a number of existing small subs to air-independent propulsion subs, which can lie on the bottom in ambush for 2 to 3 weeks at a time. Concentration camps are being expanded, and the Chinese are tightening the border with North Korea. So, no. I only see the situation getting worse and worse until there is an apocalyptic collapse. And when the collapse happens, the result will almost certainly not be good for anyone.